Hey everybody, welcome back. So let's go ahead and get started into the video. So glad to have you here. This is the first time you're watching any of my content. Hi, my name is Sam. So glad to have you here. So like I said, let's just go ahead and jump into the video. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna prime our face. And I've been really loving this drugstore one from e.l.f. And it's their Poreless Primer Putty Primer, excuse me. I got my two words backwards. And this is a really great primer. It's a pore filling one, which is awesome. So we're just gonna go ahead and prime and fill in those pores. So I have pore issues on my cheeks, my chin, a little bit up here on my forehead. I'll put some on the sides here too. So I'm really excited to share this look with you guys. I think you'll really enjoy it. And I think, you know, oranges are just such a great look for anybody. I really feel like there's not one type of skin tone that can't pull off an orange. I don't know, I've really been into like the warmy, like orangey, burnt burgundy, you know, type of things lately. And I've done a couple looks with those. So I thought it'd be fun to share that with you guys. So, okay, so we've got our primer on. So now let's jump into the foundation. And I'm gonna be using one by the Marc Jacobs brand today. And this is their Shameless Youthful Look 24-Hour Foundation. And this is a really good formulation if you have normal to dry skin. And I absolutely love it. In fact, I'm almost out of it. I'm like trying to get the last bit out of here that I can. So this is what the product looks like. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just squeeze this on the face. But what's nice about this foundation is it gives you just a nice glowy feel to the skin. Just gonna go in my beauty blender, blend that out. Okay, so now we've got our foundation on. So let's go ahead and move on to the concealers. I'm gonna use two different concealers today. I'm gonna use, I'll just show you. So I'm gonna use this one from e.l.f., which you've seen me use many times on this channel if you've watched any of my makeup tutorials. This is kind of like my tried and true. This is the color Medium Sand, and it's a brightening concealer. And then I've got this one from Fenty Beauty, which is another favorite on this channel, and this is the Pro Filter, and I'm in the color 290. And this was a slightly lighter shade than my skin tone. So I'm just gonna pop these both under my eyes. And the reason I wanna use both today is because I want my under eye area to be brightened, but not super brightened, not like a stark kind of brightness, if that makes sense. So I find that this is like really, really brightening. And so sometimes I don't want it to be like super brightening. And so I like to kind of mix the two. But obviously, if you want that super brightening look, go for it. I change it up. Sometimes I really go for that bright look and I really like it. And other times I'm like, nah fam. So let's go ahead and just use that beauty blender again and blend that out. Now, when you're going in with your eye concealer, you don't want to press like too hard into the skin. You certainly want to blend it, but you want to be gentle at the same time. So like slight pressure, but you definitely don't want to, you know, really be like, you know what I mean? Like being really hard when you're pressing. Just enough pressure to kind of get it blended well into the skin. Which I'm just gonna look in my mirror here. I think we're good on that side. Okay, yep, so let's go in and do it on the other side. All right, so now that we put our concealer on, let's go ahead and bake. So I'm gonna use this powder by Huda Beauty, and they're called like their Easy Bake, I think it's what it's called. Let me grab it here really quick. And it's called, yeah, the Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. And I'm in the color Banana Bread. This is what the packaging looks like. and you kind of have to tip it over and tap it. That's what they suggest. It's kind of fun. Okay, and I'm gonna go in with this little puff from Beauty Blender that I just recently picked up. I'm just gonna set that concealer that we just used. And I don't use a lot of powder, just enough to kind of set the under eye and set those concealer areas. I just use a light dusting. I find if I use too much powder, then it kind of settles into the fine lines sometimes. It just kind of makes me look, you know, not my best. So I just set it. And then tip for you, if you struggle with your foundation getting into your smile lines, if I smile, like sometimes I'll get foundation like even there where it settles into the smile lines, use some setting powder and it will help set that concealer and that foundation in place. So that way when you are doing the powder and you're setting it, it just kind of makes sure you don't get any crepiness there. I don't know if crepiness is a word, but you know what I mean. Where it doesn't settle into that as much. Okay. So we've got that, which is awesome. So I got the powder. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get just this fluffy brush here. Just kind of brush the excess away. There's not much excess to brush off, but just kind of enough to where the skin is nice and even. See, look at that. So nice. So lovely. Okay, so now that we've done that, so let's kind of wait on the skin and let's move to the eyes. So I'm going to be working with two different palettes today. And the palettes I'm going to be working with is the Tarte Toasted palette and then the Dose of Colors Sassy Sienna. Sorry, I had to like look and see, but this is what the Sassy Sienna's packaging looks like. And then this is the Tarte one, what that looks like. So they're both warm, kind of neutral based palettes, which like I said earlier, that's really up my alley lately. So let's go ahead and prime my eyes. I'm gonna be using this primer from e.l.f. and it's their Putty Primer. And if you watched my full face of drugstore makeup video, you would have seen this in action. It's a good primer. And I'm impressed because most primers, I'm not a big fan of most primers. I just use concealer. I just find that it works better for me. But this has been working so far, so. And it's a drugstore alternative, which you can't beat. And see how it like canceled out all the redness? So I'm just working with one even tone, which is very important, at least for me, because I do have some redness and discoloration on my eyes. So it's nice to have something that can cancel all of that out and you just have a blank canvas. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the eyes. So let's get into this Dose of Colors palette. That's where I want to start first. And I'm just going to get my blender brush here. And this is the one from Morphe, and it's their M504. You can just kind of see it has a really nice fluffiness to it. It's fluffy and then a little bit tapered, so it's really good for just kind of starting your transition color, which is how I always start my eye look. So the Dose of Colors has 5 colors in here, and so I'm going to show you what those look like. So I'm going to start with kind of, I believe this color is what I want to start with, just to kind of put that in my transition, just so we kind of have a color base to start with. One thing with these Dose of Colors ones, if you have this palette, is just make sure you do tap off the excess because they are very pigmented. You just want to make sure that you are working with it. So I'm going to start right in here. Okay. We're just going to blend that right into the eye. These Dose of Color shadows are so pigmented and so buttery. They're amazing. If you have not had a chance to try Dose of Colors, I highly recommend. They have just a fantastic formula. I own several of their palettes and I've not been disappointed with any of them. They're great quality. Okay, so we've already got this eye. So let's start on this one and blend. In my opinion, now I'm not a makeup artist, but I don't think there's any right or wrong way to put color in your transition, just as long as you're staying in your crease. For me personally, I kind of like the cat eye, kind of like elongated effect. So for me, I'm always trying to like not get too far out. I'm always trying to like start outward and then work inward, just so I kind of am mindful of that. Because I know for myself, if I start inward and then work outward, like I'll have eyeshadow like all the way out here. And so you really don't want it like on your cheek. You want to stay on your eye. So for me, it's just a cognitive effort. But that's just my little tip to kind of keep myself in order and in straights. But if you have a tip to kind of get yourself to where you need to be with your eyeshadow, that's fine. If you have a similar eye shape to me, then try that tip where you start in the out and then work your way in. Just gonna use a little bit more. Okay. All right. The other thing with eyeshadows, it just kind of takes time. Just takes kind of like just time knowing your face, knowing your eyes, knowing how to apply things, and taking your time too. I find if you just kind of rush through something, obviously it doesn't look as good. So take the time, you know, makeup should be a fun experience. Okay, so what I really want to do now is I want to deepen up this kind of vibe that we got going on right now. So I'm going to go in with a more tapered blender brush. So you can see it's a little bit more tapered. And I'm going to go in with this darker shade from the Sienna's palette. I want to go in with this one right here. And what I'm going to do with that color is I'm really just going to focus it and kind of create what we call an outer V. And just really kind of create some intensity and some depth there. So I just got some on the brush here. I'm going to tap it off. And you want to work small. So that's one thing I've learned over the years with just experimenting with makeup and playing around with makeup is you start small. So you start with a small amount of eyeshadow and then you build it up. And you know, it's easier to do it that way. In fact, okay, I'm gonna look down in my mirror here so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better, but you know, it's just easier to remove product when you have a little bit on versus you've got like a whole eye that now you need to like redo and refix. So it's just a little bit easier. Okay. See how I kind of create a little bit more depth. It's subtle. It's not like, whoa, she added like this burnt orange burgundy color, but you can just tell it adds a little bit more depth and dimension to the eye. So I'm going to do it over here on this eye. And I think with this look, you know, it can be very versatile. You know, if you soften it up enough, it can be good for, you know, like an everyday. If you honestly just did these two colors and then did like a light sparkly color, it can certainly be daytime appropriate. Or if you want to punch it up a little bit and you want to, you know, wear this on a night out with friends, or you have a date, or you know, you have a special event, then I think you can certainly, the colors are versatile enough in these palettes where you can make a variety of different looks. So it's not a one trick pony in my mind, in my opinion. Okay, so that's it. Oh gosh, it's so pretty, I love it. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with some concealer. So I'm gonna kind of clean up the lid area, and I'm just gonna go back in with that Fenty one. And I'm just gonna clean up my lids. Okay. what I have here is I just have this little brush by BH Cosmetics, and I'm just gonna put that on the lid so it can have more of a sticky surface for when we're gonna put on our lid shade. So you don't necessarily have to do this, but it does kind of help kind of clean up the lid if you did put your transition just a little bit too far. And it does kind of help with creating, like, if you want to create more of like not a cut crease, but I mean, it can help with like a cut crease look, but it can also just help with creating a little bit more dimension. You'll see here in a minute. So we're just kind of blending this concealer out. Now let's go in with the Tarte Toasted palette and let's choose our lid shade. So I'm really loving this color called Flame. And there's another color called Shimmer in here too. So, Simmer, I'm sorry. So basically I think I want to use both of those today and kind of create a gradient effect. So let's start with Simmer, and it's this shade right here. And then after that, we're gonna use this one called Flame. We're gonna just pop those on the eye. So I'm just gonna grab a brush here. This is like an e.l.f. $1 one. It's pretty inexpensive, but it works really great. I can't complain. We're just gonna pop that on the eye. So the nice thing, like I was talking about with adding concealer, is that it really kind of gives your eyeshadow like something to adhere to. And then it helps you create a guide for exactly where you want that to go. So I'm just gonna put it on the other side. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with that color Flame and just use the other side of that same brush. And then just put it on the other part, to finish out the rest of the lid. So I basically use that first color Simmer on one part of the eye, and then I'm finishing out the second half of the eyelid with that Flame color, and then just kind of merging them together. So it kind of creates like this gradient, like sunset effect. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back in with the Sassy Sienna. So this is kind of what the eyes look like right now. We're gonna go back in with that Sassy Sienna's palette, and I am gonna go back to that warm kind of burnt brown color. And I'm just gonna go back in and kind of work that back into the crease because I felt like I lost that a little bit when I put my shadows on the lid. So I just wanna, again, create that depth and dimension. Okay, great. Shadow on the bottom lash line. So that's really the eyes at this point. So I think what we can do now is we can put on our liner. I'm going to do a wing liner today, but if you don't want to do a wing, then you can certainly just throw on whatever eyeliner that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and do my wing liner, and then I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So I put on my eyeliner. And then I also did my lashes off camera, and then I actually did my eyebrows, so I finished the rest of my eyes. I just figured to help save time because it was kind of a tedious process. But I'll talk about what products I use. So I created a wing liner, if you can see on my eye here, and I used the NYX Epic Wear Waterproof Eyeliner. I picked this up, probably about a month ago maybe, from Ulta. And it's a really good eyeliner from NYX. Once it's on, it's on. And it doesn't go anywhere. So it's a really good one. It's pretty affordable. And like I said, I've been kind of testing it out and trying it out, and it's a really good product thus far. So highly recommend. And then what I did is I kind of just brightened up the inner eye here. As you can see, it's a little bit more sparkly and cleaner in there. In fact, I'm going to add just a little bit more just to really punch up the look. But what I did is I used this ColourPop BFF cream eyeliner, and I don't know what color this is. Oh, it's called Get Paid. It's this really pretty sparkly, kind of neutrally color. So I put that in the inner rim, or not the inner rim, but kind of the inner corners of the eye to add some light and dimension. And then on top of doing the wing liner, I did line my upper waterline, and I used the Marc Jacobs eye pencil, and it's just in the color black. And it's just, that's what it looks like. So I just, again, just lined the inner waterline. Then for my eyebrows, what I did is I used two products. I used this Billion Dollar Brow eye pencil, and then I set it with the Benefit Gimme Brow. So that's what's on my eyebrows today. So that's basically the eyes. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move to the skin, and then we're gonna finish back up with the eyes, okay? All right, sounds good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna contour, and I'm gonna go in my e.l.f. contour kit, and I'm in the medium deep one. And I'm just gonna use the third shade down here. I'm just gonna contour. And just kind of get that on the skin. I don't want like an extreme contour, so I'm just gonna keep it pretty light and pretty neutral. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little bit up on the forehead. Okay, I'm gonna dip into the second to darkest shade too. Or I'm sorry, the darkest shade in the palette. Just kind of create some dimension. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna use a little hack here. I'm just gonna kind of do it along my nose here. Okay, so that's the contour. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to then put on my blush slash bronzer. So I'm gonna use this color from Bare Minerals, and it's called Warmth. And it's just this really pretty color. I use it kind of like I said, like a cheek color slash kind of like all over color. But you can kind of use it however. So I'm just gonna pop it on my cheeks, and it just gives this beautiful warmth to the skin. I mean, warmth is just such an appropriate name. But it doesn't make you look orangey or coppery by any means. I mean, it really is just a beautiful color. So I'm just put that right on top. I'm gonna put some on my chin here. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit, I'm actually just pop some in the pan here. And then put some up here. Really kind of do like a C shape. Okay. And if you heard a little voice, that's my son. I think him and Dad are gonna play some Mario Kart. Okay, so I think we've got the skin pretty much taken care of. So as you can see, we've got that handled. So I'm gonna go back in with my eyes. I'm gonna use this 24/7 Urban Decay pencil, and I'm just gonna put that along the inner rim here. Just kind of create a little bit of depth and dimension. Oh, got it down there. And I'm not gonna use much. So I'm kind of starting where that the lighter one ended. So it really kind of creates that cat eye look that I'm going for. All right, great. So the only other thing that I want to use is get some lips on my skin. So what I want to use today is two different colors. So I want to use this color by Dose of Colors. It's their liquid lip in Nude Mood. And then I want to go in with this NYX Powder Puff Lippy in Puppy Love. So let's get the liquid lip on first. Okay, so that's the liquid lip. It's a great color. Oh, I forgot how much I love that color. All right, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, this is their, like I said, the NYX Powder Puff Lippy, and it comes in like this little puff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna squeeze out some here from the puff. Okay, so I've squeezed some out from the puff, and I'm just gonna get it on my finger here, and then just dab it on my lips. Get a little bit more. And it kind of makes it less nude and more peachy pinky. Okay, great. So that's the lips. And then I do want to use a liquid highlighter right before we set. So I'm just going to put that like right on top. And I'm going to use this one from Becca, and it's their Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Opal. And a little goes a long way. So I'm just going to squeeze out just like a itty bitty bit. That's it right there. And I'm just going to use my 2 ring fingers. Just kind of blend it out. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. Like I said, even this will be like way too much, but I'm just gonna pop it right on top of my cheek. Look at that, y'all. Look at that glow. And it just blends in so beautifully into the skin. I mean, look at that. It just, and some cream highlighters and liquid highlighters don't blend in well after you've powdered your face. It's not the case with this one. It just works wonderfully. Gonna blend it in with the pinky ring again. And it's great. I mean, look at that. I'm gonna add a little bit more just to kind of give myself a little bit more of a glow. Very, very beautiful, and it looks natural on the skin. A little bit more on this one. So it's really, really beautiful. You can also mix it into your foundations too. That's kind of the look you want to go for, like an all-over glow. I personally just like to have precision with my glow. So I kind of like to be precise on where exactly I put everything. But this is certainly a beautiful product. I'm just going to put a little bit up here. Again. I just dab it out with my pinky ring. But if you have a brush or you want to use a sponge, go for it. There's no right or wrong way to get this into the skin, in my opinion. And it just really creates a nice, dewy look. Look at that. Man, just so dang pretty. Okay, so that's the liquid highlighter, again from Becca. It's their Skin Perfector. Now we want to set everything. So I'm going to go in with this Morphe Sweet Peach. It's their limited edition scent, which I think is awesome. We're going to set the face. I'm going to go ahead and set this. Oh, it smells like peaches. It smells wonderful. If you're a peach fan, certainly get this. That's a nice one. And then I'll also set it too with my tried and true, the Mario Badescu spray, the rose water spray. Okay. All right. Well, that's it, y'all. This is the makeup look. So you can kind of see what the end result was. I hope you had fun walking through this makeup tutorial with me. If you did, give the video a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.